I'm Jasmine Bowen and welcome to REMIC TV. You are watching The Elephant in the Room, and on today's episode we have 4 very special guests. Welcome, guys. So as you can see from the video, you are little people. Is that the politically correct term? This is okay?
Yes, actually that's the one we all prefer.
All right, so why don't you tell me just a little bit about yourself. So Monique, we'll start with you.
Well, my name is Monique Bourgeois. I'm a little different in this scenario just because I don't have any form of dwarfism. I actually have what's called Turner syndrome.
Okay.
So I guess that's a little bit something different from me. I don't know if, Mary, you wanted to exchange something?
All right, Mary, tell us about you then.
Okay, I'm a little person, and one of the form of, there's over 200 different conditions of dwarfism, and one of them, the most common one, is achondroplasia.
Okay.
And so that's where you are average torso and just short limbs, and your head. Some of the people would have bigger head, with mine is pretty big, it just, we can do as much as any other little person can do, and same with any other condition.
And Ethan, or maybe your dad wants to tell me about you. What do you like?
I like hockey.
You like hockey?
Who doesn't?
And do you like going to school?
Pretty much no.
No? Maybe your dad can tell us a little bit about you, Ethan.
Well, Ethan is 8, and he has the most common form of dwarfism, achondroplasia.
Okay.
But he's very athletic. He's had no complications, and he just enjoys sports and all regular activities that everyone else plays.
All right, and Colin?
Hi, I'm Colin. Yeah, I have achondroplasia as well, just as the other two. I do various whatevers. I do anything I can get my hands on. I play music. I work at computers all day. I do drama. I play sports. Whatever. Yeah.
So, from what I get from you guys, it's a normal life. Now, the questions that we ask on The Elephant in the Room are usually questions that people are afraid to ask, or maybe they don't have the chance to ask. So let's start off with an easy one. Does anyone want to tell me about some people's reactions to you in general? Maybe on the subway, on the street?
Sure. So I guess the main reaction is just people watching you a little bit longer than probably an average height person would be walking down the street or that kind of thing, which is understandable.
Right.
I think most of us would say that, that's fine, but we would love, instead of looking at us, coming up and asking us about it. We love actually expressing, what it's like to be a different little person, whether it's Turner's or achondroplasia or anything like that. We want to spread awareness. We want to tell people about what it's like, who we are. You know? So I think that's the main reaction that we get.
Just people watching and staring.
There was one experience I had, which I thought was really good. There was a mother with a child, and the mother with the child wanted to know about me. So the mother came up to me and said, "My little boy wants to know about, why you're short, why you're so small, why you're not the average height." And so I explained to the little boy. He was about 5 years old, and I think if that's what the parent could do, even if they don't understand our condition, is come to us. We're not going to bite. So
Yeah.
It just come to us and ask us questions. So.
Some of us might bite, but that's another.
Oh. maybe Ethan and Colin, you both seem very active. Ethan, this doesn't stop you from doing anything, does it?
Pretty much no.
No. What, you play sports? So what do you play?
Hockey and pretty much soccer.
And soccer? Do you win? Yes,
Yeah.
of course. What else do you do in school?
Just play gym, just go to gym and do art. Not very good at math or science.
Oh, some of us aren't very good at math and science. I'm not. And Colin, you mentioned you had a finger in a lot of different pies.
Yeah. Oh, as I said, I work in IT. I work for Environment Canada. I play music. I sort of play around with sports. And when it comes to little people, I sort of agree with Monique, but I take a different approach to it than a lot of people. I go beyond. I sort of go to a humor level. I actually have a shirt that I got made myself, says "Keep Staring." I might do a trick. I've got a few others, but as you said, this is sort of family oriented, so I'm going to keep those to a minimum.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, it's I don't know. I think that's the biggest thing is we do find that people are always staring and looking, and I think that comes mostly from not knowing what it is, what we are, why we are the way we are. There's a definite lack of knowledge out there in the world, and I think it'd be really cool to see more of that pushed out. And there are groups that are trying to do that, but we are such a sort of small group of people in the larger population that it's hard to get a lot of that education out there. But yeah, that's definitely one thing. If anyone ever wants to know anything and they see me in the street, they can come up and ask me anything. I don't care.
Well, even with that shirt especially, right?
Oh yeah, exactly.
You're just inviting it.
You know.
Absolutely. From an average stature parent, the perspective I see, and I see from the outside, I can see other folks and children watching and looking and not sure if they're comfortable enough to go up and speak to you or talk to you or ask you anything. And
have you had some negative experiences as a parent, you know, bringing Ethan out? And
no. I mean, I wouldn't want to call it a negative experience based on the fact that just because someone doesn't know any different doesn't mean that it was intended and their intention was to be negative or intrusive to Ethan or anybody else in the group. So I think it's just a lack of seeing an individual that is different.
Right.
And then that's all it is. And then they come to realize everybody is a person and has feelings and can do things that they want to do.
Now, children are generally more accepting, actually.
Well, they can be, and depending on age of children, when you're talking about age differentials, there's some children that can be, I guess, a little bit mean-spirited with things. But for the most part, you don't really come across a lot of that. You find people that are just a little nervous to maybe approach and talk. But myself, I'm just sitting on the outskirts a little bit and watching. When Ethan does different things, you can see some parents and some kids that it's first time for them.
Ethan, does it bother you?
Little bit.
A little bit? But you don't let it stop you?
No.
No, that's good. Yeah, and when you play soccer or hockey, can you keep up with everyone just as much? That's the way it should be.
I know one thing I wanted to share is it's kind of funny because, of course, I've grown up being different, so I've gotten used to, you know, people looking and staring.
Of course.
So it doesn't really faze me anymore. I know it actually tends to bother people around me, like particularly my boyfriend. Sometimes he gets bothered by it more than I would. Not crazy bothered, but it's kind of funny that that's the situation. You know, for us, we're just used to it. It's a normal day, but it's, you know, for other people around, it actually bothers more.
Absolutely. And right now we're going to get Ian Ritterbos on the phone. Now, Ian is from America. He has a disease called KC. He's about 4'6", I believe. So we're going to try and get him on the phone and see his experiences, Americans versus Canadians. So your experiences have been pretty positive for the most part. There's been nothing horrible. Let's see if Ian answers.
Evening.
Hello, Ian. How are you?
Fine, and you?
I'm good. We're just discussing, we have 4 little people here, and we're just discussing the differences between Americans and Canadians with their experiences.
Okay.
Can you tell us maybe some people's reactions on the street to you, maybe?
A typical reaction to me would be, well, mostly the biggest reaction I get is from kids. Kids tend to view me like I'm an alien.
Do you guys feel that as well sometimes?
They're they're afraid of me. But other than that, adults, you know, they're used to seeing, you know, people, so they just pretty much, you know, they don't really react.
that's the same experience that these guys have been getting here in Canada. Do you feel that as well, that people kind of look at you like you're an alien or something?
I think from Ethan's perspective, I don't know if I'm speaking for him right or not here, but I think it might depend on your geographic location, if you're in a big city or if you're rural or you know, in that type of setting. Where we are locally here in Mississauga, in his school, he's the most famous kid. He's like a rock star. So I think it's a little different.
I still actually remember my first few weeks of grade 9. I went to a school of 2,000 people, which was actually pretty big for a high school. And I think within the first 4 hours, every single person in that school knew who I was. And I was late for class sometimes, stopping me just to introduce themselves.
Ian, did you find that experience as well, that people always knew who you were? I knew you came from kind of a small town.
Yeah, I'm pretty much unmistakable.
Monique, you had something to add?
Yeah, I always feel bad because I look different. People tend to remember what I look like more than I remember them. So I always feel bad sometimes. Yeah.
Now, this is a general question. Has this stopped you guys in any way? Maybe Ian, we'll start with you and then we'll let you go. Has it limited you in any way from getting a job or any sort of success in life?
Well, in my experience, I found you have to get past the way you know people look at you. You have to show them more. That you have more experience, you can do more, you have all that. Otherwise, yeah, it's like the door slammed in your face.
Oh dear. Well, thanks for sharing that just little bit of information about the way Americans react down there. Thank you for calling in, Ian, and we will talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
Thank you. So, do you guys feel that as well, that the door has been slammed in your face a few times because of the way you were born?
Well, I work with Link Up Employment Services as employment consultant. And even before that, well, I've been there for 15 years now. And before that, I remember going to a job interview, and in my background, I was a recreation therapist, and I was going for a job interview as a recreation therapist for a seniors resident. And the first thing, in most cases, I figured there's always people more experienced. But this one, she showed it, that she felt that I couldn't do the job. By just, as soon as I walked in, I was there 15 minutes early, and I had everything prepared, and the interviewee said, "Oh, I'll take your resume, but I don't have time for you for the interview." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Well, it's just, I really don't have time for you." And I said, "Well, can we just talk about my background experience? Because I've worked at the Martyrdom camp, and that's, for people with disabilities."
Absolutely.
And that's when you work at a camp, you're pushing wheelchairs on grass. And I was able to do that. And she was saying, "Well, I don't think you could push a wheelchair." I said, "I beg your pardon? I could." And she said, "Well, I'm sorry, I'll just take your resume and then you could go." So at that point, I could have said something wrong or could have fighted, but I figured that was not a place I wanted to work for.
And what about anyone else? Want to volunteer an experience?
As far as the workplace, no, I've never really had. Actually, no, that's a lie. I actually was applied to a grocery store at one end of my hometown and was told by the manager that I couldn't do the job. And then I applied to the exact same chain at the other end of town and got the job instantaneously because they knew I could, and I was told I was one of the better people there most of the time. So I think there is a lot of people thinking and just looking at us and assuming we can't do things.
Misconceptions.
Misconceptions,
absolutely.
And I think there is a level of truth to it. Like we can't reach things on high shelves instantaneously, but we can get a stool.
Well, just like anyone who's,
right?
I can't reach something on a 7-foot shelf, but I can get a stool.
Yeah, there's ways to work around our environment, and I think that's what a lot of people in our situations learn to do very quickly too, is we have to learn how to deal with the environment. The world outside is built for people your height or people taller than you, so we have to look at it and find a way to get around absolutely every obstacle. And it's a lot of fun in some ways. Actually, I love problem solving.
Wow, there you go.
I think it actually can help us in a lot of ways, because it does teach the kids at a young age, you know, that how to deal with certain situations that other kids won't have to deal with. I think one of the biggest mistakes I've seen by some parents that have LP kids is actually when they almost coddle the kid and like try to do everything possible for them. It's like, oh my God, that's like
reconfigure the house.
Reconfigure the house. Let's spend $50,000, right, on a remodel, and then the kid walks out the front door and he, you know, well, okay, where's mom and dad, right? So I think that's one thing for sure. Yeah.
Ethan, do you find at school that kids are mean to you?
No.
That's good. And is there anything that you have a little bit of trouble doing?
Pretty much no.
No? That's good. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Hockey player.
Hockey player? What team?
Pittsburgh.
Oh, the loyalties come out now.
with the Washington.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think you just like hockey in general. Okay. All right.
Like any team.
And Monique, you haven't spoken words. Is there any trouble with you?
I haven't had any really like big specific experiences. Definitely nothing like what Mary was explaining. I think a lot of it comes down to, and this relates for anyone actually. It's about believing in yourself to be able to do whatever you want to do, whatever you put yourself out to do.
Right.
And like I said, that's for anyone.
Yeah.
Right. It might take us a little bit more courage, a little bit more time to get to that point where we can, but once you do, there's nothing that can stop you.
Now, we're running out of time, but I was wondering if there was something that each of you wanted to say to people in your situation who maybe didn't have the courage that you guys have or don't have a voice. We'll start with you. Is there something you want to say?
I think just to go along with what I just said, believe in yourself. You know, go and do it. You know, we're in a unique situation where, believe it or not, we have an opportunity to inspire people. Because of actually the way we look. It's a strange coincidence, but because we look different, by achieving stuff that maybe someone average height can do, we can actually inspire people, which is amazing. You know? So,
inspiring anyone, no matter who you are, is amazing.
I would say that's one thing I agree with, and as well as we can almost do anything. There's always a way of going around it. I remember with my parents, they would say, like, Mary could do it, she'll find a way. And I think that goes for all of us. We'll find a way of doing things.
Great.
Absolutely.
Ethan, is there something you want to say to little boys who maybe have been made fun of at school or maybe find trouble doing things? Just do it. Just do what you love.
Absolutely. I like what Monique and Mary said. I mean, you set goals, you dream your dreams, and you don't let anybody hinder that, and you go for it.
In Colin, I know they've said a lot.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to use a line, and this is going along with this, but it's a little bit on the other side of it. If you ever are feeling down, if this is ever pushing you down, great line from one of my favorite shows that I've ever seen, Game of Thrones, was spoken by Peter Dinklage's character, Tyrion. And if I remember correctly, the line goes, "Never forget who you are. The rest of the world won't wear it like armor, and it can never be used to harm you." And that's when I remember listening to that and thinking, like, that's my thoughts exactly. Don't let it hurt you. Don't let anyone push you down with it. Use it as a shield and just plow through. Keep going.
Well, I think that's very good advice. Now, thank you guys very much for coming on the show. I do appreciate it, and I wish you all the best in what you're doing. And Ethan, I wish you the best in hockey. Good luck getting to that team, though. Maybe try a Canadian team, huh? All right.
There we go.
Well, I am Jasmine Bowen, and you have been watching The Elephant in the Room. This is our episode on very brave, very wonderful little people. Check out all the great videos on REMIC TV, and make sure to click on our contest banner where you can win $500 just for telling your friends about the awesome video you just watched. Check it out, and until next time, I'll see you soon.